Hey everyone, GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes. And tonight we should be getting an all-new trailer featuring new characters that are going to be debuting in just a few short days. Now, there's been a lot of rumblings about this particular batch, a lot of speculation that it could potentially be Fallen Heroes Part 2. Fallen Heroes Part 1, as many of you remember, featured Fallen Celica, Hardin, as well as Grima. So let's watch the trailer for the first time together and see what it's all about. Okay, the new trailer's out. Let's take a look. Got that purple emblem in the back. Oh, alright, it's going to be a bunch of Fate's Beast units. Alright, so we're going to start off with the Lupine Collector.
My tail is not
Keaton.
It's not. Got it?
Alright, so he's going to be a red beast. Wolfskin Fang, Draconic Aura, Special Spiral. I didn't see which Velouria he had at the bottom there. Oh, that sprite's awesome. Oh, he looks cool. Velouria? Alright, Wolf Cub.
Your smell. It's different than anybody else's.
Okay. Alright, so she's going to be colorless. Wolf Pup Fang, Luna, Close Defense 3, and Ward Beasts. Okay, so introducing more of those C-slot beast buffs. Alright, third is, okay, Kitsune Braggart.
As you can see, I'm from the most beautiful race in the world, the Kitsune.
Okay, green, and it looked like he was cavalry. Was that right? Kitsune Fang, pivot, link skill. Oh wow, that's so cool. That's really nice. The sprite work is amazing in this batch. Okay, here we go. Free Spirit.
Scratch my ears.
Selkie. Selkie is super popular. Okay, so she is a blue Fox Kit Fang, Iceberg, Attack Speed Bond 3, Sabotage Attack 3. Okay, so similar sprite to Keaton, naturally. Or Kaden, not Keaton. Okay, alright, A King's Worth, new story chapter. Very exciting. I think everybody was really looking forward to this batch after they had introduced the previous. Oh wait, hold on. Let's pause back there. Let's take a look at the map. Is that Panne? That might be a free Panne, which is awesome if so. Panne is an awesome character from Awakening. Whatchamacallit? The bunny beasts. I'm sorry I forget what the race is, but if that is Panne, that's really cool. And then there's also Gothic Alphonse back there also at the top. But yeah, no, that's really exciting if that's a free Panne. Panne's a really cool character. I think she has a pretty solid fan base. I think people like her. So that's exciting to get a free unit. So let's keep going. And she is blue. Okay, so it's starting on the 20th, as we already knew. 4 heroes, no color sharing. Each one is a different color. I'm a little curious about. We're gonna obviously take a deeper dive, rewatch it, take a closer look at the movement types as well as the skills that are available. I thought it was a little unusual because they classified Kaden as a cavalry, but maybe that's just to indicate the increased movement speed. Because we'll just take another look at the skills, but. This is an awesome batch. I think a lot of people were really excited at the prospect of beast units when beast units were first introduced with Tibarn, kind of opening the floodgates and having a whole new set of beasts from Fates introduced into the game, because they're pretty popular characters, I would say, for sure. So this is pretty exciting. I think a lot of people are going to be excited about the introduction of these units into the game. And it's about time, I guess. So no Fallen Heroes this time around. There's still time for them to introduce a Fallen Heroes banner down the line, but at least for these new heroes that they're going to introduce into the game, they're not special heroes. They will go into the general pool once this banner leaves, but it's going to be exclusively beast units. So that's very exciting. So let's take a step back, rewind a bit, and watch from the beginning again and analyze the units individually. Okay. I like the art for all the characters. I think they nailed them. Keaton looks great here.
My tail is not wagging. It's not. Got it?
Okay, so, yeah. So red infantry. Okay, so let's pause right here. Wolfskin Fang, Might 9. Inflicts speed -5. Oh, wow. Inflicts speed -5 unit attacks. So it's a brave beast weapon. Interesting. Okay. I guess the 9 might should have given it away. Even if foe initiates combat, units attacked twice. Okay, all right. So it's a brave weapon both on player phase and enemy phase, similar to what we've seen with Meisterschwert, which is Swordheart's weapon. Reinhardt with a sword, his weapon. Except obviously his has a higher might, is stronger just in general. But that was the first brave weapon that worked on both phases. It seems like that's also going to be applying to this Wolfskin Fang. So Keaton has this weapon, it reduces his speed by 5, but allows him to double or attack twice in a row, not double, on player phase and enemy phase. At the start of turn, if unit is adjacent to only beast or dragon allies, unit transforms, otherwise reverts. If unit transforms, grants attack +2 and deals 10 damage when the special triggers. Oh wow, so okay, a Wodao effect and attack +2 upon transforming. So those are both really powerful things. +2 attack may not seem like much, but with a brave effect, that is a big deal. So you have +2 attack, might. I mean, he is a physical attacker, and he's red, so it's not as though he's breaking a lot of ground there, but he is doubling on both player phase and enemy phase. Depending on his stat line, he may be able to quad. And because he has a brave effect, he can do the whole Reinhardt plus Quicken Pulse thing, where he slaps Moonbow on himself, puts Quicken Pulse in his seal, and so then he'll have basically Moonbow at a 1-turn cooldown, and then he'll activate his special on the first initiation and get a plus bonus raw damage, true damage, from his Wolfskin Fang. So that alone I can think of as a pretty powerful combination. Just in general, it's kind of a tried and true from Reinhardt. Obviously a little bit different because Reinhardt that usually has it won't have the sort of Wrath/Wodao effect on him because he can't inherit a skill like that, being cavalry, and also he has range usually. But nonetheless, I think I could see that being a potent combination for Keaton. Nevertheless, he comes with Draconic Aura, Special Spiral 3. If special triggers before or during combat, grants special cooldown -2 after combat. Okay, so meant to pair in conjunction with Wolfskin Fang. As soon as Keaton initiates or activates his Draconic Aura, after that combat session, his Draconic Aura will be at a 1-turn cooldown, just like we talked about with the Quicken Pulse Moonbow combination. Instead, it'll be with a much more powerful skill special like Draconic Aura. So, provided that Keaton can activate his Draconic Aura at some time during the match, that means that the following turn, the next initiation, he's going to proc Draconic Aura with a +10 activation, assuming he's in wolf form, I should say. Beast Valor 3. Okay, so a Valor skill for beasts. We all knew that was coming. It looks like it's going to be on Keaton. Always useful in grinding SP on those weekends. And, well, in this case, during the anniversary event, pretty much every day. I could see a lot of powerful things that players could do with Keaton. They could pair him with cooldown activating or cooldown reducing partners. So that gets his Draconic Aura or whatever special you end up replacing it with down to a 1-turn special. So that his Wolfskin Fang, when it attacks twice in a row, when it has that brave effect, will activate and give that +10 damage. So I think he can certainly be extremely deadly, depending on his stat line and depending on the needs of the player and what game mode they're using him in. So let's keep going. But yeah, cool weapon and super cool sprite. Now, we might be able to calculate his attack here. The only issue is we don't know exactly if he has his +10 Wrath effect active here. Or what other buffs he has, unfortunately. Okay, so we have Velouria, Wolf Cub Velouria, in her kind of Little Red Riding outfit. It's cute. She is going to be a colorless. So let's pause here. Wolf Pup Fang, 14 might weapon, grants speed +3. That's kind of becoming a common trend recently with any of these skills and weapons. At the start of turn 1, grant special cooldown count -2 to unit and unit's support partner, if any. Interesting. It was data mined a while back that these sorts of skills would get introduced into the game, where it would kind of take advantage or use the support feature to activate or as a condition for activation of certain skills. It was data mined a while back and just hadn't been implemented, and it looks like this is going to be the first time that that sort of mechanic is introduced. So Velouria on turn 1 will get -2 cooldown to herself and her support unit. Whoever you've decided to pair her with, those two will get special cooldown -2 at the start of turn 1. So that's pretty crazy because she's an infantry, so infantry has no shortage of cooldown reducing skills. They really don't. But the fact that she can partner with any other movement type means that other movement types will be able to get that advantage, which means that other movement types will be able to get basically 4 or 5 turn cooldown specials down to a 1 turn cooldown special, depending on the partners that they have. You have, and that's really potent and really powerful. At the start of the turn, if unit is adjacent to beasts or dragons, we already know this, she'll transform. When transformed, she grants attack +2 and +10 damage when special triggers. Oh, wow, okay, so she also has the Wodao effect that we were just talking about, but she also gets a special cooldown -2 at the start of the turn, which is incredibly powerful. The special cooldown -2 paired with Quick Impulse alone makes Luna an instant proc. Makes Luna a 0 turn cooldown on turn 1. So that alone is extremely powerful and especially potent because she gets a +10 damage from the Wodao effect. That's extremely powerful. But then you have, it's actually pretty interesting because Special Spiral, which is on her father, actually probably works better on her because on turn 1 she's going to have a -2 cooldown, and then when she activates Luna, or whatever special you end up replacing that with, then Special Spiral will take effect, and she'll always have a 1 turn cooldown. So it's interesting that they didn't give her Special Spiral. I think that was deliberate. I think they wanted to force people to pull for Special Spiral fodder in order to build out Velouria, but definitely I think that Special Spiral works best on Velouria, just given what we know. And she doesn't have a B slot, so she's, it's kind of perfect for her. So she comes with Luna. In her A slot, she gets Close Defense 3. It's sort of indicating that she might be enemy phase. I don't really know. I guess we'll have to look at her stat line. And then Ward Beasts for the C slot. Ward Beasts grants defense and res +4 to beast allies within 2 spaces during combat. We know all about the Goad and the Ward skills. They've been in the game since day 1, but they are still extremely powerful to today. And that value is not going away anytime soon. So let's keep going. I think that Velouria has a fascinating kit. It would be very fun to build.
Too much work.
The cute art. And that sprite's so amazing. Alright, so next up we've got Kaden, Kitsune Braggart.
I'm Kaden. As you can see, I'm
like
from
his
the most
smile.
beautiful race in the world.
Alright, so
The
like I said, it says he's cavalry. Alright, let's pause here. Cavalry and a green beast. So I'm guessing that means he has additional movement. Maybe it'll say something in here. So Kitsune Fang is his special. Might 14, range 1. Grants defense +3. Oh my god, this description is so huge that the font is tiny. And, grants defense +3. Grants allies within 2 spaces bonus to attack speed defense res during combat equals current bonus on each of unit stats. Calculates each stat bonus independently. So it's an in-combat buff to all surrounding allies within 2 spaces, the current bonus that he has on his stats. So activated buffs or turn buffs like Hone, Rally, Fortify, those buffs that are on him will get passed on to allies within 2 spaces as in-combat buffs. We've already seen something like this, I believe, with Erica, if I'm not mistaken, and her Refine. So it's actually very interesting and encourages certain team compositions, stacking sort of buffs on Kaden so that he's able to then provide that buff onto his allies. Calculates each stat bonus independently, and then at start of turn, the standard beast unit information that you have there, that where they transform if next to a beast or a dragon ally. Once transformed, grants attack +2 if unit initiates combat, inflicts attack and defense -4 on foe during combat, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack. Okay, so that is a very powerful effect. That means that if he initiates on an enemy, he gives them an in-combat debuff to their attack and defense, which is both perfect, exactly what he would need when he's initiating on them to do more damage, as well as kind of cripples them on retaliation, because it disallows them from making a follow-up attack on Kaden. That's a lot of things in one description, a lot of things in one weapon, and a lot of powerful things. It's kind of interesting because it is kind of interesting because it's not as pinpointed focused as Keaton's and Velouria's, as I would say anyway. It's a little bit more mixed phase because it encourages ally support and supporting allies, and at the same time also has sort of this player phase effect. He also has Pivot for his assist. Speed Res Link 3, so these Link skills, I think they're pretty good. I think that the B slot is just so competitive, and on a lot of units like really need or rely on the B slot skills. But for units that don't really rely on it, and they have more freedom of choice, the Link skills are a pretty decent option, because again, you're going to be using the movement assist skills very often because they're just so powerful. So skills like Reposition, Shove, Pivot, after using them, it's going to grant speed and res +6. And then Goad Beasts. We were just talking about wards and how they're powerful, goads and how they're powerful. Nothing's changed. I mean, Goad Beasts is going to be a powerful, powerful, powerful skill. So let's keep going. Let's see Kaden in action. That Kitsune sprite, so cool. Awesome attack animation. Alright, so we've got our free spirit.
Scratch my ears.
Selkie.
Snuggle time.
Alright, Snuggle time. So let's pause here, take a look at her skills. She has a full kit, so she's got 5 skills. And again, just like Kaden, that font is tiny. Fox Kit Fang, 14 might weapon. It is interesting to note that none, at least it appears, that none of the 4 units that have been revealed have inheritable weapons. They all have their own weapons exclusive to them that has an interesting array of effects. So Selkie's weapon is Fox Kit Fang, 14 might weapon, grants res +3. At start of combat, if unit's res is greater than foe's res, and if foe uses a sword, lance, axe, dragonstone, or beast damage, grants bonus to attack, speed, defense, res equals to 50% of difference between stats. Interesting. Interesting. So at the start of combat, so it means when it's an in-combat effect. That's the first condition. And if your res is higher than your foe's res, or if Selkie's res is higher than her foe's res, so like a ploy check, basically. If foe unit uses a sword, lance, axe, dragonstone, or beast damage, so basically any close quarters weapon that you can think of, grants bonus to attack, speed, defense, res equals 50% of difference between stats, maximum of +8 to each stat. Oh boy, this is a doozy. So once those conditions are met, it grants a bonus to Selkie in each of those stats, and all 4 of her stats equal to 50% of the difference between stats. I'm still not entirely sure what that means. I'm trying to read this again. If the unit's res is greater than the foe's res, and if foe uses a melee weapon, grants bonus to attack, speed, defense, res equals 50% of the difference between stats. 50% of the difference between Selkie's stats and her opponent's stats? And which stats? Or is it just like the total stats? And does it matter whose is higher or whose is lower? A lot of these this wording is kind of confusing. I'm not entirely sure I'm understanding this. And obviously just reading it for the first time, there are so many conditions, it's kind of crazy. I mean, it sounds like if there's a difference between Selkie's stats and her opponent's stats, 50% of that difference of all of those stats gets added up and then tacked on to her attack, speed, and defense and res to a maximum of +8. And the closest that we've seen to something like this is Cliff's Tome. where he specifically prefers like neutral attack, basically so that he can his tome activates and gives him bonus to all of his stats, since his attack will be lower than his opponent. So I don't know if this is similar to that. It's a little gray for me and a little confusing. Maybe it's just late and I'm not thinking right, but it sounds like it could be good. It's just, again, it's a little fuzzy, and I think it requires some testing. So at the start of turn, if unit is adjacent to only beast or dragon allies, or if unit is not adjacent, the same beast condition. If unit transforms, grant attack +2, and if unit initiates combat, okay, so similar to Kaden, grants attack and defense -4 on the foe during combat, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack. So a very powerful effect there for sure. Iceberg for the special. Attack speed bond 3 for the A slot. The bond skills are excellent A slots. And this is no exception, especially for attack and speed. Those are two very, very important skills for an offensive character. Okay, so a new skill, Sabotage Attack 3 for the B slot at start of turn. If foe's res is less than or equal to unit's res, -3, and that foe is adjacent to another foe, inflicts -7 on that foe through its next actions. Why does Selkie have like a million conditions for all of her skills? So at the start of the turn, if it's a map-wide debuff effect, so similar to the chill skills, it sounds like she's going to have some pretty decent res. Her Foxkit Fang gives her some res. And she comes, apparently, we're skipping ahead a little bit, but she comes with even res wave 3, so it sounds like she's going to have some pretty decent res. So that's probably not going to be that difficult of a condition to activate. So it's another map-wide effect. It's similar to the chill effects, the main difference being when you compare it to something like Chill Attack 3. Chill Attack 3 will only affect one unit. Well, not necessarily. It will affect the unit with the highest attack on the enemy team, which usually means one unit. If 2 units or 3 units have the exact same attack, then all of them will get debuffed. But that's a little bit on the rarer side of things, unless you're in like one of the training maps or anything like that. So Sabotage Attack 3, the advantage is that it's a map-wide effect and can affect basically the entire enemy team, no matter what their stats are, as long as their res is -3, is less than or equal to -3 Selkie's res, and is adjacent to another foe. So that's an important condition, is that they have to be next to each other. So it's similar to Aversa's Knight and that debuff effect. So that's a separate condition. Assuming those two conditions are met, then it gives -7 attack. I can see that being very powerful, and I can see why they put all those conditions on this skill. They don't want to give a map-wide effect that can just debuff the entire enemy team without a series of conditions, and so that's why they kind of did it this way, I think. And it seems like Selkie's res is going to be high enough where she can definitely employ it to meet the first condition, the second condition being that the foes have to be adjacent to each other, and that's not really all that difficult of a condition to meet. And then we just talked about even res wave 3, of course. On even number turns, she'll get res +6 to her and her adjacent allies for 1 turn. Alright, so let's keep going. A very interesting kit, just kind of all over the place. A lot of new and unique abilities. Okay, cool sprite, really cool sprite. Both the like Chibi and the Kitsune sprite are really cool looking. Alright, so like I said here, it looks like Panne is going to be a free unit, which is awesome. And that's very exciting to me personally. I like Panne a lot, so I'm definitely looking forward to getting her for free. So just looking at this banner overall, I mean, Keaton and Velouria seem to be really powerful. Their kits look kind of bonkers in terms of offensive power. Selkie has a really, really interesting, unique kit. It's kind of all over the place. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about it. I'm honestly not 100% sure I understand it. But Selkie has a lot of stuff going on, a lot of new interesting mechanics, and she's definitely a fascinating character to pull and build for sure. And then Kaden is there too. Kaden's it seems more like a support / mixed phase unit. Has a lot to bring to the table. All of their unique weapons are kind of crazy in terms of their utility, especially when they're in beast form. So that's not terribly surprising. One thing that wasn't entirely fleshed out was with Selkie and Kaden, it seems as though they count as cavalry. So I guess when they're in beast form, they're going to have 3 movement, which is, that wasn't indicated on any of the skills because it might be implicit. But I mean, that's a that's a pretty darn powerful thing in and of itself. So let me know in the comments below if you're excited for this banner. I think a lot of people have been waiting for these units, for these characters to make their debut, and they're finally here. I'm pretty excited for it. I'll probably do some pulls for it. Let me know in the comments below if you're excited, who you'd be pulling for, who you're excited about. If you want to clarify Selkie's weapon for me because I'm an idiot and I got it completely wrong, please go ahead and feel free to do that. Like I said, I'll get some things wrong sometimes. I mean, again, these first read-throughs of these skills, I do my best, but unfortunately sometimes these things are so convoluted that that I'll make a mistake here and there, and I apologize in advance for that. If that's especially grating to you, I'm really sorry. But nevertheless, hopefully you enjoyed watching our reaction to the trailer for the first time. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you so much for watching. We really, really do appreciate it. And until next time, let's protect those skies.